And welcome back to another episode of Paint, Sip, and Relationships, or Sip, Paint, and Relationships, or just doggone talking about relationships. This is Bryce Cappellini and Rain Congreo. Good to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'm coming with the topics, and I like to do rapid kind of questions and just keep it moving kind of things. Okay, so with this one, let's start off with how do you push your partner, motivate your partner?
How that's a good one. How do I motivate my partner? I really listen. Because if you listen to somebody, they will tell you everything you ever needed to know about them. But 9 times out of 10, we like to talk about ourselves, and because of that, then we don't really understand what the other person needs, and so we can sit there and we can have conversations about I can ask you, what do you need, or you can ask me, this and that and the other. But to me, that's surface talk, because where I capture the most is when we're just having a conversation, and it's just a free for all. There's no subject. We're just talking and things come up. And because of that, then I'm able to kind of see exactly where you're coming from, what you want, how you view the world, how you view relationships. And then from there, I take that and I say, oh, okay, well, I understand you want XYZ. And so I may bring it up in a way that is comfortable, because you can't challenge your partner like you would challenge somebody in a duel. Okay. Because now you're fighting against your partner. You've got to make your partner feel like you're with them, you're for them, and that they can do this. So you've got to be able to come across to your partner in a way that they're going to understand, and they're going to want to make that flip. So it really isn't challenging. It's really something they already wanted to do. They've just either put it off, or they got sidetracked, or they are not confident enough to do it. And so that's where you come in, and you kind of be that peace of mind to say, hey, you wanted to do XYZ. What do you think it takes to do that? And usually they're going to tell you what they think is going to take to do that. And now that you have that information, then it's up to you how you proceed with that, and push it to make it go forward and get what they want.
Okay, I like to look at it from a different perspective. Okay, and it could be because I have you know certain out the box ways of thinking of things sometimes, and I just feel like sometimes you have to do some consultative analysis, if you will, right? So what do I mean by consultative analysis? I mean, it sounds fancy, but really all I'm doing is I'm observing you. I'm asking you questions about things you like to do. What do you like to aspire to do? Where do you see yourself? And then probing more deeper down questions to see what is holding you back from getting there, or what are you doing to get there? Okay. Mind you, all this is done because you have an interest in the person, because you are concerned about the person, you have that you want to be involved with that person, because it's going to require time, energy, and the ability to pay attention. Okay. So it ain't a situation where you up there playing Xbox and trying to hold a conversation, or you at the club and you just talking and you're there and then you're not there and you're AFK. It's more of being there wholeheartedly, both feet in, to analyze what this person is saying or what they're about, right? As you do that, then you start understanding what their goals are, what's their ambitions, do they have any ambitions, about themselves, and then you can see what roles you could help or assist in being there. And is this something that you like to do? You know, because again, it's going to require time, it's going to require energy, it's going to require that ability to pay attention to this person, because you have more than just the feeling of, yes, I think she's attractive, or yes, we get along. It's more than that, because when you're more involved in something with someone, you take the time to do it. You make the time, you know. A lot of times it's always the saying of you make time for what you want to make time for. If you don't want to make time for it, you can come up with every excuse in the world to not do it, or not be accessible or available. So it's like being able to analyze a person that you care about or that you're in a relationship with and really get to know them and take the time to see how you guys line up. That's what I would say is key. You know, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's really any different. I think you just put a different spin on it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much
you would say that. Okay, so
that's all you
you
did.
could do all that. I can't just put my spin on it. Now it's, oh yeah, I said the same thing. You just took a different corner. We still at the same store. That's
We
what you're
are.
saying.
We
You
are.
know, that's
We
okay.
are
I
because
just want to give you props. Okay.
it still requires you to talk to the person, requires you to interact with the person. It requires you to listen to a person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
everything you just said is what I said before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So
So I guess that means we
we
on
meet in
the
the
same page.
middle. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we on the same page then.
Mhm.
And here I am thinking I'm saying some new breaking ground, earth shattering stuff, and you just on the show have to say, "Oh yeah, I said that already, sir." Wow. This is y'all don't know. This is what it's like. Okay. I mean, I know y'all see the show and see folks out and about, but this is what it's really like right here.
Mm.
You know? That's
So what
okay.
is it? I mean, so answer this. How do I challenge you? What do I do? So, I mean, if you're going to put it out there, this is really us, then how do I
Wow.
challenge you?
Because you know how to get up under my skin and rattle my nerves sometimes, but I know it's all out of love, and I know it's a bigger picture behind it. But at the time, I ain't knowing that. I'm just hot. Like, really, that's what we doing. But when you take some steps back, or we look at it, and it's like, well, I did that because of this. Then it's like, okay, I get it. It makes sense. So I mean, you motivate me in many ways. You motivate me through conversation. You motivate me by being consistent. Consistency is always key. That's what I try to be with you.
Mhm.
It's always consistent.
Mhm.
It don't stop even when you mad at me. I'm still gonna do the things that I've been doing since we met, right? Because that is showing you the true character of a person. If it stops just because there's a disagreement or it's not, all peaches and cream, then was that really real to begin with?
Right.
Like they say, people will present their representative, put their best foot forward in the beginning, but down the line, 6, 7 months down the line, and we know SL time, 6, 7 months is like a couple years. So then we forget, how to, we used to do this, or we used to do the good morning and, good morning, beautiful in the morning and all that. Now that should just be like, yeah, I get a text, that's it, or the conversation ain't as fluid as it used to be, all those types of things, right?
Well, listen to what I'm about to say. So our conversation isn't like it used to be. It
Mm,
isn't that fluid like it used to be.
mm,
However, we're at a different stage. So relationships go through different stages. So
mm-hmm,
you can either grow together or you grow apart, but you're eventually one of you, hopefully you both are growing.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So we could be talking and there'll be nights. Think about it. There'll be nights we'll be talking and we have a lot to talk about. And then there's nights that we're like, so tell me something good. Because we don't have anything. So when you're getting to know each other, of course, you're gonna talk day in and day out. I mean, you and I were talking till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you know. And now we're lucky if we make it to 11 o'clock at night.
Wow. Wow. Just putting it all out there. Just
but uh,
wow.
but it's
You
not.
know?
Here's the thing. But it's not. It's not a bad thing. That just means that we've gotten comfortable and that we know each other and we know where we can cross and where those boundaries are with each other. And we're comfortable. I think that's, to me, that's the most amazing part, is that you can confide in me, I can confide in you. And there's no bars held. There's nothing there. It's like we just we flow, we go like that. And so I don't have to worry about anything. I'm like, oh my God, if I tell him this, or you'll be like, oh, if I tell her that, you don't have to worry about that,
True.
you know? And so it's okay, because that means that we're moving forward and we're growing together, and literally you and I can actually sit in a room and we don't have to say anything to each other, and we're fine with that.
I think that's when you have that kind of communication that you don't even have to communicate through words. Um, because there are certain things that can be done or said or shown um, that provides that communication. So it's not always just what you're actually saying. Actions, as they always say, speak louder than words. Do
Mhm.
you show up? Are you consistent? Are
Mhm.
you the same, showing or at least expressing the same type of person that you was in the beginning, right? And we
Mhm.
know that as time goes on, certain things change. You may not be, so oh and all Bryson at the time, because he just pissed you off 2 days ago. But he's a complete asshole. But,
Mhm.
at the same time, you got something that you've invested in and spent a lot of time in, and you know that everything has rough patches. Everything. The thing is, can you get on the other side of that
Mhm.
and then keep going? And how do you do that? Well, communication is going to be one of them
Mhm.
because you got to be able to communicate, and then listening is another. You know, um, Being able to hear you, not just you know, not just hear you, but I guess you can say listening to you, understanding what you're saying, putting yourself in the other person's shoes versus just seeing it from your point of view all the time,
Mhm.
right? So I think that's what it is. But my takeaway from this is, when we're not talking till 5 or 6 in the morning, it's because we comfortable with each other. I like that. I'm gonna use that. Appreciate you, babe, for that. I really do. So now I want to hear next week. Oh, well, we used to talk to. No, we comfortable now. Remember, you said that on the
Well,
show
I
the
mean,
other day.
I got one thing to add to that. You know, when you talk about, you being in your asshole mode. Um,
Oh, oh,
um, I mean, and this may be a word of, a word to somebody. I don't know, but if you really think about it, when you're in your mood, right?
yeah.
I don't talk to you. I literally, and it's not like I'm ignoring you or anything, but I get very quiet because it's easy to go and try and start an argument and to egg that person on. Why? Why am I going to do that? And you do the same thing. When I'm in that mode, you're just one of the you do the same thing. I don't think you realize it, but you're just like, "Yes, dear," and you'll leave it alone. Now, we may talk about it. We may talk about it the next day. Okay,
Right,
we may talk about it the next day, but
right,
right then and there, because we again, this is about knowing your partner. We know
right,
what those buttons are. We know, just let it go. Just shut up right now. Don't say anything. And
right.
then we address it and we talk about it the next day. And we've never had a fight ever.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But the reason why is because of what we've just said. So
Right,
that's a word to somebody.
right. That's true. That's true. That is very true. Yes, dear. Okay. Wow. Just put it all out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just like with me, I get quiet. I don't say anything to you because you're in your mood and I let you
Yeah, and
have
that's
that.
hard. And that's hard to go off when someone's just sitting there quiet.
That's my
You,
point.
you be like, well, you didn't do this, or why we well this happened, and you just
Mhm.
Like, damn, am I just talking to myself? What the you know what I'm saying? So you're
Yeah.
right. You are right. But then of course you let it dissipate, and then you can come back with a clearer head and time has passed and you're not on that same level so that you could be like, okay, this
Right.
is what
And
I
you
was meaning to communicate and then come out
mhm.
that way or whatever.
But you also, and this is for another topic, another time, where we can talk about the damsel in distress versus the goddess. Because
Oh,
in the in
here
those
we go.
times in those times there's two women, and each women, I don't know, some women know this. You have two or three women in you, so yeah, we can be bipolar, we can be bipolar, schizophrenic, whatever. Yes, it just depends on the woman that's coming out at the time, and you've got to know which one of those women to let out at that time.
True.
And that's why I said it's the damsel in distress, because you have even said to me, I know that that goddess wanted to come out, and I'm like, and she didn't. It was the damsel in distress that just kept quiet and said, yes, babe.
Yeah,
Yeah. But then you got the goddess the next day and said, please don't let it happen again.
true. That is
So
true.
yeah. So that, that's a whole topic we can talk about right there.
Yeah, that is true. Well, as always, it's always fun doing this show with you, and a lot of topics come up. But then I feel like even though we kind of share or put a magnifying glass on our relationship or topics that we go through, it applies to a lot of people. So I always appreciate you being on the show and doing what you do.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right, until next time, we'll catch you again right here at Sip Painting Relationships. Paint
Good
Sipping
night.
Relationships.
Good day, good night, wherever you are in the world.